Good evening and welcome to our Board of Education meeting. I would like to call on Board Member McGregor to open up our meeting.
Just join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And you are able. We are now at approval of the agenda. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. We're now at the consent agenda. Dr. Contreras. I believe the consent agenda covers A through C, that D has been removed.
Yes, you did. You just said it. D has been removed.
I believe so. I'm just checking with Dr. Contreras.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. This evening's consent agenda includes several items. Those items are approval of the May 2021 meeting minutes, the personnel report, and the 2021 budget amendments transfers report. That concludes this evening's consent agenda for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. That's been moved and seconded. Please vote using your device. Thank you, and that passes unanimously. Board Member Tillman will try. Oh, hold on just a minute, Nita. Board Member Tillman will be joining us. He is on duty and will be joining us hopefully via Zoom by 6:30. Ms. Sharp?
I have a request when we're voting. I would prefer that not be shown till every vote is cast.
I don't know about the
Madam
technology
Chair,
on that.
if it's the pleasure of the board, we can make that happen, but I can't do that tonight without having to stop the meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will we have to vote on that?
We can have some discussion about it and get back from technology, how that's done.
Yeah, because there are times.
The green one, the right one.
I mean, we sometimes vote by raising our hands, and so you can't hide that. So I'm just curious about why that would be a request. So
Well, you can just check and see what the options are, and then the board can have a discussion about whether or not we want to wait or not.
okay.
Okay. We are now at comments from the chair, and have a few things to say. Good evening and welcome. Congratulations to our more than 5,700 graduates who crossed the stage at the Greensboro Coliseum over the past few weeks. We look forward to hearing about their accomplishments as they begin the next phase of their lives. Please check out our website, www.gcsnc.com/2021grads for inspiring stories about the class of 2021. Dr. Contreras will represent Region 5 as a member of the Board of Directors of the North Carolina School Superintendents Association. We're proud of her work that she and her fellow superintendents are doing to support school districts across North Carolina. Board member Diane Bellamy Small was recently featured on Spectrum New Voices for Change series. She talks about her experiences growing up as a person of color and how it influenced her mission to inform, empower, and engage. I saw that a couple of times that day, Diane. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for all you do to advocate for students and staff here in Guilford County Schools. Our district has created a new website dedicated to the use of the 2020 school bonds. The site, www.gcsnc.com/bond2020, will provide Guilford County School community and the public with regular updates about our progress as we renovate and build schools listed in Phase 1 of the Facilities Master Plan. The site will also be helpful to bond suppliers looking for information about the projects, notice of upcoming interest meetings, and links to bid documents. Finally, I want to remind families that the 2021-22 school year is just around the corner. Families with new students, including rising kindergartners, are encouraged to register now at gcsnc.schoolment.net. This helps our internal planning to ensure that we have teachers in the right locations on the first day of school, which for those on the traditional calendar is August 23rd. This concludes my remarks. Dr. Contreras?
Good evening. I join Chairperson Hayes in extending my congratulations and best wishes to the class of 2021. It was a joy to see the smiles on our families' faces as their graduates crossed the stage and completed their high school careers. They have shown that they can overcome remarkable obstacles, and I know they will accomplish great things. The class of 2021 collected more than $174 million in scholarships and grant offers, with Page High leading the charge at $13 million. Our students had more than 304,000 service learning hours, numerous military academy appointments, and will go on to prestigious schools such as Princeton and Columbia. This was the first year that we live streamed all of our graduation ceremonies, and more than 20,000 viewers tuned in. If you missed a graduation, you can watch the reply on GCS TV and on our YouTube channel. And wow, we knew Dr. Gauss was special, and we knew his video of singing at graduation was so great. But now it seems the world is realizing what we have known all along. Dr. Gauss was featured on ABC World's News Tonight with David Maurer. He was featured on the Today Show this morning, working on, and we're getting a link for that. He was featured on the Huffington Post, as did, and celebrity Jamie Lee Curtis also forwarded his clip on. Fox News did a story, and it was forwarded by countless social media accounts, garnering reactions from millions, including P. Diddy, who said, "This is dope." This morning, Dr. Gauss was also made sure we were all taken care of and interviewed with local outlets, WFMY News 2, Channel 12, the News and Record, and is set up with the High Point Enterprise and ABC 45. Plus, Fox 8 Cindy Farmer will be interviewing him tomorrow for What's Right with Our Schools. We're really proud of him. I think we have a clip here.
Finally tonight, the principal and his solo. Graduation day at T. Wingate Andrews High School in High Point, North Carolina. Marcus Goss is principal, and he is loved by his students. And when it was time for Principal Goss to say goodbye, he knew exactly how he wanted to do it, trying to sing it the way Whitney Houston did.
And I wish you joy.
Singing, "I Will Always Love You."
And I will always love you.
That great principal with us tonight.
Hi, David.
Principal Goss on his nerves and on the song, first written and performed by Dolly Parton.
Of course, there's a nervousness because nobody sings behind Whitney Houston and the greats like Dolly Parton, but the lyrics were really what I was trying to portray to my students.
Hey, David.
Graduating senior, McCaw McCrae.
Mr. Goss singing to us was something I will never forget. He is a big part of why I am who I am today.
Tonight here, the principal and his message, and we didn't make him sing it.
One of the things that the pandemic has really taught us is that we need more love, that students know that we love and care for them.
I'll always love you.
And we love Principal Goss. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
That was great. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Our summer meal distribution program is now open. Meals will be provided at 20 school locations from 11 a.m. to noon, Monday through Friday. Any child under the age of 18 is encouraged to pick up a meal package, which includes both breakfast and lunch. A full list of locations is on our website. On Wednesday, June 16th, from 11 until 6, there will be a COVID-19 vaccination clinic at Dudley High, hosted by Cone Health and North Carolina A&T State University. This clinic is open to everyone 12 years old and older. Please call 336-890-1188 to make an appointment, although walk-ins are welcome. I also want to thank the several schools and administrators who hosted clinics recently, and special thanks to Cone Health and the Guilford County Public Health Department for their efforts to bring the vaccine to the community. 3 GCS schools were honored recently for their commitment to developing character. Bluford STEM Academy, Southeast High, and Sumner Elementary were recognized for their promising practices by the organization Character.org. The 3 schools were among only 4 in the state and 170 in the nation this year to earn the designation, which is given to schools with the programs and initiatives that have demonstrated significant impact and strongly align with the principles that help schools and organizations cultivate a culture of character, according to Character.org. Since 2012, more than 90 GCS programs have been recognized as promising practice recipients. And Harvard University Center for Education Policy Research Strategic Data Project awarded GCS the 2021 Strategic Data Project Excellence in Education.
Sorry, I don't know why it won't shut off. I thought I had it on mute.
The Excellence in Education Data Award. The award honors excellence in using data and evidence to solve big, thorny problems, produce high-impact data tools or analyses, or transform data culture into education. This year, the project singled out GCS's use of data to respond to the historical and unexpected challenges districts across the country face during the pandemic. We are grateful for their acknowledgement and will continue to use data to drive our district initiatives. Our summer academic programming will begin next week. More than 15,000 students have registered for these programs. To put this in context, just 2 years ago, only 1,200 students were enrolled. We will begin to address the learning loss of our students and the learning loss our students have experienced this past year. Thank you to the 1,600 staff members who will spend their time serving students all summer long. We look forward to a busy and engaging summer helping students get back on track for the upcoming school year. And on that note, for those students and staff who we will not see in the classroom this summer, I hope you have a restful and enjoyable summer break. I'd like to turn it over now to Dr. Oakley, who will give a presentation on changes for ACES and how we are hoping to bring ACES back for the fall in preparation for a vote on the budget, the full budget, on June 17th.
There we go. Good evening. Tonight we're going to give an overview of the proposed ACES program fees for 21-22 as we begin to reopen ACES programs. We'll start by taking a quick look at ACES programming prior to the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic in 1920, we served 4,000 students in ACEs in grades K-5 at 54 different elementary schools. All of our ACEs programs are licensed by the North Carolina Division of Child Development and Early Education, and because they meet that 3-star licensure requirement, they also are able to accept the DSS vouchers for childcare. ACEs prior to COVID, and when we look at the fee structure, included a weekly rate of $50, a one-time registration fee of $15, an all-day program rate for teacher work days of $8, and a $50 deposit that was a prepaid fee that would then be applied to the weekly rate. When we look at the logistics behind reopening ACEs, it's important to remember that it's an enterprise fund, so it only can put out what it takes in. And we've begun surveying parents to determine interest and participation. We will reopen sites that have sufficient enrollment by August 2021, but that's just the beginning. As we continue to get more increases in pre-registration, we'll be able to add on additional programs. It's important to note that to add the dedicated part-time custodian to program sites to keep up with the cleaning and to get all staff to a paid minimum of $15 an hour, we are proposing a new fee structure. It's important that as we work to get other classified employees to the $15 an hour, that we do the same for ACES staff. The proposed weekly rate is $65 an hour. $65 a week. Sorry, not an hour. It really is a good deal, but not at $65 an hour. Registration fee of a one-time registration fee still of $15, which really is just to make sure that they're going to come. A $20 rate for the all-day program. We were losing and going in the red on those teacher work days at only $8 for the whole day. And then waiving that deposit, so making sure that just that registration fee is what secures their spot. We do intend to reevaluate at the end of this fiscal year 21-22 to make sure that this fee structure is meeting the needs, including that $15 an hour cost. We've looked at projected break-even points, again, because the nature of the enterprise fund. In the past, our larger programs have helped keep our smaller programs in operation. So we're proposing that we're opening with a subset of smaller programs, and we can reopen more through the summer and the fall, and even as we move into the second semester, as we have registrations that say that we have enough kids participating to do that. People have some survey fatigue after the year that they've had. We've surveyed parents more than we ever have before, and so we have pretty low response rates across the board. Principals, we're talking to them about different ways to gauge parent interest. We also think now that school's out and parents start thinking about summer months and planning for fall, that we'll get more interest as we pre-register for ACEs, but this is just a snapshot. This response rate, though, has hovered around 11 to 13%, which is pretty low. So we're continuing to work with schools on that, and principals are continuing to contact parents. And as they come in to enroll in kindergarten, saying right then, are you interested in after school, and doing that pre-registration. So our next steps are to recommend opening the largest programs first, including those programs that have enough pre-registrations to do so. As schools reach those numbers needed to operate, we'll add those schools and keep the board and the community informed as we reach those numbers. At this point, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. We have Kim, Anita, and then Betty.
Yes, thank you for that. I wanted to know whether or not, have we thought about any other kinds of after-school programs like virtual Y, things that we would not definitely have to manage to bring in, or anything like that as an option?
No, we felt the direction from the board was pretty clear to bring back ACEs, and that's the direction we took.
Even for all the schools? Like, schools here don't have an option to bring in their own programming for after school or anything like that?
No, but we have YMCA programs, Boys and Girls Clubs, that our buses do transport students to those schools,
Right.
to those programs if
Right,
they
that's-
choose that.
okay.
But
Okay.
we're not bringing other programs into the buildings.
Okay, and have we thought about middle school yet?
No,
'Cause those
we've
parents-
kept the teaching and learning during the day as the core business. We were just following the direction of the board to phase back in ACES programs.
Okay, thank you.
Anita?
My question, I know it's a little late in the game for this, but have you given any thought to ACES for summer school? Since our summer school programs are so extensive this year, can you be ready? Could you do that? Because we're going to have a number of kids anyway.
I don't think we could get the personnel in time to do it. The summer school has been extended to full day. I do believe we can continue to transport students to their the programs they're currently in, and we still have those partnerships. So I don't think that students will be at risk of not having a program in the morning or the afternoon. So we still continue to transport to those programs. So it's still a little bit inconvenient for, the next 6 weeks. But I don't think we could get the staff in time for the parents.
Okay, I have concerns about students being taken home after school and latchkey kids. And ACES goes a long way to remedying that situation. But I understand the timing is tight.
Betty, then Diane.
As far as the rate for the ACES, is there a possibility that the rate may go down at the evaluation this year to see if you are making more money than you think you will for next year?
So the projection is just intended to break even because it's an enterprise fund, but that's why it said that we will look at the end of this fiscal year to make sure that the fee is appropriate.
Okay, and the last question is, what is percentage of the inquiry last year, or I'm sorry, 2 years ago, versus what we have right now? I know it's going to increase because right now we're just getting out of school, but what percentage of parents that said they want their kids in ACES 2 years ago, before the COVID?
It varies by school and the size of the program, so I could answer that by individual school, but I wouldn't be able to give you a generalization. Right now, our best response rate's around 20%, and our lowest response rate is around 9%.
But I wouldn't give that much credence yet. It's
Yeah.
the end of the school year. There's a lot of survey fatigue, and parents are more likely to respond right before school begins as they start thinking about, we need childcare. So I wouldn't get nervous.
No, I'm not nervous. I was just trying to base it, see where they were 2 years ago and see where we need to get now. That's all. Thank you.
Dina.
I have Diane and then Linda.
First of all, I want to thank the superintendent and staff for doing what it has taken to bring ACES back. As I know that the answers a year and a half ago was not as positive as it is now. And I think that it is meaningful. You said, I think it was on slide maybe 3 or 4, about what is sufficient numbers? Okay, how many do you have to have a program at a site?
So it's not quite that simple.
Okay.
Because we have some programs that are as large as 200 kids and some programs that we're operating with 30 or 40 students. So we really have to just keep getting pre-registrations in to know. So what may be a cut point for a school as big as Pierce might be a totally different admissions cut point for a school as small as, say, Vandalia. And so we're just having to look at the overall population, the size their program used to be, and trying to work towards that number.
Is that because the larger programs somewhat subsidize or balance out the smaller ones? To make the smaller ones run, you need the larger ones to run at capacity.
That's right.
Okay, so
but there's not a cut number. So we're trying to get to where 60% or higher of where they were in 1920 in terms of their size of enrollment. But again, that depends on the size of the school. Excuse me? Yeah, the year 1920.
1920.
The year 2019, 20,
okay.
when they were
I was
last
gonna say,
in
Not
operation.
100 years ago.
Yeah, not 100 years ago. It's okay.
So as I understand what you're saying is the total ACEs. Okay, so I mean, between the chatter up here and the chatter out there, it's kind of
It's
hard.
hard, I know.
Okay. But so what you're saying is what the total ACEs sign up is impacts on whether smaller programs are able to survive.
That's right.
Okay. And then my last question has to be with, okay, when you say ACEs, the assumption is that we're just talking about babysitters, but that's not what the program offers. Do we have something that shows parents or tells parents, that they're getting a quality program, whatever that is defined as?
So the ACEs program is outlined on the website. It includes the academic enrichment, the rotation through the stations, the healthy and physical activity, the homework support, things like that.
Okay, I just wanted to be stated because, some people are assuming that, you're just going to have people sitting there looking at kids for 3 hours after school, which is not what our program does.
Correct.
So, okay, thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So the program will be run virtually as it was run before, as far as activities for the kids and that kind of thing.
Thank you. Virtually now has this whole other.
pretty much the same as.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, the rotations meet the licensure requirements. I mean, we'll follow whatever the guidance is on the health and safety regulations. Have that additional custodial support.
We will be taking DHS vouchers.
That's right, and that goes up to this proposed fee schedule.
Okay, and if there's going to be a last minute rush, which there probably will be. Can we handle it? Can we get it? I mean, people are having a hard time hiring people right now. And maybe that will change over the summer, but we have no guarantee of that. Will we be able to staff sufficiently?
Principals have reached out to their former site coordinators to see if they're interested in coming back, and if they're not, they're working to post the positions as we're able to reopen the program. So I don't have a crystal ball to be able to answer, can we be fully staffed, but we're having that conversation because of the realities of hiring.
And are we limited in ratios? I mean, is there a student to teacher kind of limit?
Yes, there is.
And that is?
I don't have that ratio memorized, but
21 to 1.
21 to 1.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But will we still keep that ratio based on the pandemic? Would we not?
The state sets the guidance on the ratio. I think we'll have to continue to monitor public health requirements on whether or not that ratio matches the health guidance.
Okay, so there is a possibility that you could wind up with programs that are maxed.
Mm-hmm. That could happen.
Not because of pre-pandemic, but because of pandemic.
We had programs that had waiting lists prior to the pandemic, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say I've talked with several parents who are excited about the return of ACEs. They all had questions about why the increase, and when I talked about the custodial staff needs, good enough. It's still a bargain. Mm-hmm. It's still a bargain anywhere you go because it's close to 100, I think, at regular child care centers.
All right.
Thank you. I know we are all happy to see ACES come back. I just want to do a pulse check, board members, because I know we have members of the public here that are expressing themselves, but it is very difficult for board members to concentrate and for the public to be able to hear. And we're setting a precedence, so we can either recess or we can continue. But I just want us to know that, anyone can come if we continue and express themselves in this manner. That's fine. Okay, I'm good with it. I'm just saying that we need to be good with it going forward.
Madam
So,
Chair.
that's great. Yes, ma'am.
If we were to recess, they win. So that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to conduct business for the school system.
Yes, and it's interfering with the conduction of the business because the listening public is getting probably some garbled feedback because of the loudness of it and the closeness of it. I'm totally fine with picketing and protesting. I'm just saying that we are here to conduct business, and there are other people that are listening that this may be interfering with that. But if everyone wants to continue, I'm good.
And I'd strongly recommend that you get close to your mic when you speak, because it will improve whatever anyone can hear remote.
All right, thank you. We are now at action items, consideration of revised and proposed policies. I'll turn to Policy Chair Betty Jenkins.
The policy committee would like to have the following policy voted on. It has been placed on the 30-day public comment period and now ready for a vote. The policies are Section DC, Budget and Fiscal Management, 2000, Operational Goals of the Board, 2121, Board Member Conflicts of Interest, 2123, Board Member Orientation and Opportunities for Development, 2200, Election of Officers, Organization of the Board, 2210, Duties of Officers, 2220, Official Board of Education Spokesman, 2230, Board Committees, 2320, Compliance with the Open Meetings Law, 2321, Closed Session, 2400, Board Policies, 2410, Policy Development, 2420, Adoption of Policies, 2460, Administration of Policy Absence, 2475, School Rules, and 8210, Grants and Funding for Special Projects.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt items 1 through 16 in this area and one vote.
Is there? All right. Yeah. Linda? If you want one pulled, do you want one?
You don't have to pull them, they're not consent agenda.
Yeah, but if there's one that people want to talk about, we can approve the rest.
All right, we'll just have discussion. DC then.
So one.
The budget and DC budgeting and fiscal.
But then the motion is to adopt them all first, and then we can have the discussion.
Right.
Right, so we're not pulling.
No, but we can.
But you could, and you could vote on the rest.
We can vote on the rest to get those and then just have conversation on that one.
I make a substitute motion to pull DC.
Or to vote on
budgeting
2
and-
through 16.
Yes, I just pulled that one, and then we can vote on 2 through 16.
So since we're not pulling it, just to vote on,
Yes, vote on it.
is there a second?
Yes, second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, so everyone vote on 2 through 16. Pat is here. Can we hear him? He's usually on a phone that's up here, so is he just he's gonna zoom in? I don't know if it's gonna be on video.
Okay, are we voting on?
The substitution.
Right, the substitute motion is to pull that one out?
The substitute motion is to vote on policies 2 through number 2 through number 16.
So for clarification, I think board members are confused, Madam Chair, about whether they're voting to approve 2 through 16 or whether they're voting to pull policy 1. So I think
Thank you.
we need that clarified.
So I think it was to approve 2 through 16.
That's not what she said.
Hi, Madam Chair. Can you all hear me? This is Patrick.
I'm sorry.
All right, the motion is to pull the budgeting and fiscal management policy. And if we can do it all at the same time, we can say we're pulling that and only voting on 2 through 16. Can I make that motion?
I thought that was the motion.
You can.
No, it's a substitute motion.
This is a substitute motion to approve 2 through 16.
Right. That would
Right,
work.
so that's what we just voted on.
Approving the actual policies. You're approving policies 2 through 16.
Correct. So we don't have to pull it, you just approve the 2 through 16.
And then we'll come back and have discussion.
Okay, but just,
Yes.
I do have Pat on our Zoom. He can hear you, but you can't hear him, so we're trying to get that rectified right now, okay? I do apologize.
He can come back and vote.
Ms. Nolan, do you hear the board chair?
I'm sorry.
That Mr. Tillman can vote. If you can't rectify it, if you can make sure that he votes.
Understood, thank you.
Okay.
It does need to be clear, however, that he can fully participate in the discussion and hear the discussion.
If it's
In
2
order
through
to
16,
vote.
there hasn't been any, right? So he can vote on 2 through 16 because there hasn't been a discussion that he's missed. It will be policy number 1, if you can't get him. So Kim, are you changing your vote on approving 2 through 16? Okay, so, oh, there you go. All right. So right now, that's 8-0, and then we'll get Mr. Tillman's vote when you get him.
I could probably do it up here.
He just has to confirm that. All right. Diane?
okay. Just since I made a motion, and I think it was second, so you actually had 2 motions on the floor. So, and she didn't, so.
It was a substitute motion, and so the way the motions proceed is you vote on the substitute motion first. Because that passed, now it would be appropriate to consider if you would like to move to adopt policy DC.
Well, then, so my motion now becomes just adopting policy DC, right?
That would be a new motion to adopt policy DC.
Okay, I make a motion to move, to adopt policy DC.
Madam Chair, I do have Mr. Tillman's vote. He votes yes on policies 2 through 16.
So that passes unanimously, thank you. All right, so we're now at policy DC. All right. No. She can have a discussion after it's your second.
All right, got it. I strongly oppose giving the superintendent this level of financial approval. The North Carolina School Board Association that works with a large number of school districts and with GCS to help review and update GCS policies has robust policies for contracting, purchasing, materials, equipment, supplies, services, construction, and change orders. These North Carolina School Board Association policies are based on their knowledge of North Carolina law, their experience with a large number of school districts. GCS, DC budgeting and fiscal management is not a robust policy, and I strongly recommend utilizing North Carolina School Board Association policies and recommendations. I do not believe there is any school district in North Carolina that authorizes this level of superintendent and financial authority. Modifications to this policy are extreme, expanding the superintendent's purchasing authority from $150K to $350K for service contracts, from $300,000 to $500,000 construction or repair contracts, and unlimited project change orders, no limit on any dollar amount, no cumulative amount, doesn't even state that there has to be money in the project ordinance. If the board approves this modified policy, given the superintendent this level of financial approval, it would be a complete dereliction of our fiduciary duty as a board.
There are 115 school districts in the state of North Carolina, and not a single one allows the kind of uncontrolled spending that this policy, if passed, will allow. Not only for the current administration, for any future administrations. We've been pretty much following the North Carolina School Board Association recommendations on policy and are even renumbering our policies to match theirs. It has been said that Policy DC combines 2 to 3 of North Carolina School Board Association's policies. Why is Policy DC an exception? Policy 6420 from the North Carolina School Board Association begins with these words. The board is the sole entity authorized to execute formal contracts between the school system and any firm or person offering to provide material, equipment, or services to the school system. Some will say that under this proposed Policy DC, the authority is limited to the amount in the budget. Earlier in the meeting tonight, we approved budget transfers of in excess of $5 million. We approve similar amounts at almost every meeting. Think about what this means. If the administration runs out of budgeted money in a specific category, they may do a site-based request to move more money to the category. Next month, a new site-based request may move more money, and so on and so forth. Also, this is not one-and-done spending. This is not a one-time can do this. According to the wording of the policy, this can be repeated by the administration for as many times as there's money in the budget. We have an $800 million regular budget, a $300 million plus in ESSER funds, more than $1 billion budget. I think the board is derelict in their duties as prescribed by most of the 115 school boards in the state of North Carolina and the North Carolina School Boards Association that we pretend to follow.
Pat?
Go ahead, Pat. Winston.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, this is not the optimal way to address the community and the board, but I'm here and have appreciated the discussion and all the feedback from the community that we've had, and then several phone conversations. But I'll just boil it down to this. I'm here on a 2-week military training, and we're talking about teamwork and everyone working together. And I think this policy is bad policy, and the reason is just if you took in the corporate world, the business world, if a CEO wanted to have their the checkbook in essence increased, which we've done that. We've already raised it once. To do that again, almost nearly a 40% increase. I just think it doesn't speak to teamwork. It doesn't speak to full and clear transparency, because we know that any amount that goes over the 150 currently can always be brought to this board. And I would suspect that most of the time, if we have good logic and reason behind it, that those monies would be approved. But this just, there's no precedent out there for any of the school districts our size throughout the Southeast. We know that Anita read the legal part of this. I think it just, if you look at common sense precedent, the fact that it doesn't really affect appreciably one child in the classroom, it's just bad policy. We don't need it. There's no problem we're trying to solve. And I look at it as any CEO out there that asks for this kind of money from their board on a corporate board, it would be without compelling hard evidence would be rejected. And so I want to do this in a respectful manner, but I'm wholeheartedly disagree with the policy. I think it further erodes our legal and quasi-judicial responsibility as a board, and it's just not needed. I mean, $150,000 is certainly, I think, enough to keep the district moving efficiently and in the right direction. We just don't need it. It's not necessary, and I've never seen the evidence that shows in any way it on any level that it's warranted. So I just wanted to make that known, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Linda, then Winston.
So, we never talk about the public comments. I have asked the last time that we summarize the public comments because people took the time to send those public comments in. So could we get how many public comments we got? 3? 30. No, it's more than that. How many public comments we got for, and how many did we get against, Lisa?
There were a total of 69 comments, and by my count, 2 were in favor of the proposed revisions, and the other 67 were against.
And, I want to say that because you have public comments, and they feel like they go nowhere. I mean, I don't like the system. I don't like the way we're having to do it because people are confused as to which we got for the general public comments. You got to send it to the whole board and put public comments. And then when you have a policy, you have to send it to gcscomments.com. The fact that these people took the time, which I said at the last meeting, that we needed to start referencing this because they feel like these comments come in and they go in the black hole. So I just want to make sure that I asked at the last meeting that we summarize, which way things went. And so I'm asked again. So thank you.
Thank you, Winston. Yeah, I appreciate the public comments. I think we have 500,000 citizens in our county, and there are a variety of ways that people share. I've had phone calls with CEOs in this community, with business leaders, with parents and others around this issue and others. I don't like the extreme language, the accusation that the policy committee that discussed this and that colleagues on the board are being derelict or reckless or extreme, and I think that language isn't helpful. Even respectfully disagreeing is one thing. I just disagree with that language. I don't think it's derelict, extreme, or reckless in any way. And we approve a budget, and we have a CEO and a CFO and a procurement department. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on toilet paper in this district regularly, I'm sure. And so I think we looked at the state law recommendations and limits. It is absolutely a fact that North Carolina has mostly small districts that run differently. There are districts around the country that do this differently. We absolutely take recommendations from the North Carolina School Board Association, but on other policies, we've looked at other districts and done what's best in our view as a board and as a policy committee for this district. So this isn't one time that we've not straight up followed North Carolina School Board Association recommendations. So the superintendent does not have the authority to spend outside the budget. I think teamwork means we do work closely with our leadership and the CEO and the CFO and the procurement department and the educational leaders who negotiate contracts. We have extraordinary requirements we have to follow for taking lowest bids. And I think as we move forward and build schools and move ESSER dollars into dealing with kid outcomes, to say that this doesn't impact student outcomes, I have a different opinion about that. I think when we can move together swiftly to pour professional development into our teachers and to purchase curriculum and to do the business of the district, that this does make sense. And if you look at the Cone Hospital and other businesses in this community and across the state who are billion-dollar businesses, their CEOs do have the authority to negotiate contracts at this rate, and do it in the context of a budget and build good communication structures with the board. And so I support it. I support the policy, and I hope we can move forward. And I understand folks have a different opinion, and but I do not believe that it's extreme or that we will be derelict, and that we can do the business for kids and focus on kids with this policy. So I'll be supporting it.
When I looked at this budget and I thought about the number of students that we're trying to serve and get resources into the hands of principals, into the hands of teachers, and $150,000, and let's say split between 68,000 children, is $2.20 per child. I'm not sure how much we've been able to buy or, to use in that regard. $300,000 is only going to give us $4.41 per child. $500,000 will give us approximately $7 per student. We have to look at it per pupil, each student, and what we're trying to do. And if we have been doing things in a way that still shows that resources are not getting to students because we still have these gaps, these educational gaps, these academic gaps, then it is time to do things differently, because you cannot be expecting a different outcome if you continue to do the same things over and over and over. They call that something. So I'm definitely supporting the opportunity for us to do more, to do greater things, because we will have that ability, the superintendent's hands and the CFO's hands, who is a check and balance. And, the years that we've had great audits. So fiduciary is trust. We trust. And I think that that's very important here, that we trust that the superintendent is the lead educator and that we have a great staff and that we are a good school system that now is trying to do things differently and to, at the same time, deal with the fact that we have to close a pandemic gap, a learning loss, and all of those things. So now is not the time to tie hands, but to loosen hands so that we can get all the resources that our children need and at an adequate time as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane?
A couple of things. Ms. Henry, what is the average construction, if you can give it, contract in dollars? What is the average? Is it 50,000, 100,000? Do you have an idea?
Right. So, certainly it depends on the kind of project. A boiler or chiller replacement can be between 300 and 500,000. Clearly, building a new school is going to be in the 18 to $20 million contract range. So, it just varies depending on what the project is.
And are we not on schedule possibly to be building some schools in the next couple of years?
Absolutely. I hope it's very soon.
Are we also not on schedule in the next couple of years to do repairs like roofs and chillers and those kinds of things?
Certainly.
Okay.
We're doing work this summer.
Okay. So my point is that you already spend and authorize large amounts of money. That's not uncommon. When's the last time you had a bad audit?
I have. I've never had one, so. And I've been here 26 years, so.
Okay, say that again. You've been here how many years?
26 years.
All right, okay. So I think that the point has to be made that if we're going to spend large amounts of money, which we are, if we have had no bad audits, at least while this lady with 4 different superintendents?
Yes.
With 4 different superintendents, then why now are we concerned about mismanagement of money? That doesn't make any sense. This is a power play, and it's not a good one. We have a lot to do in a very short period of time. We have been having to demonstrate to our funding sources, state and county, that we can get money and spend the money appropriately. Some of the pushback from the county commissioners has been that we ain't spend the money. Okay, if we're going to not allow our finance folk, who is their job to give our superintendent the best recommendation, and I already know, and most of you up here know, that they do a top-notch job. They have saved us money. Even if it was allotted for them to spend X, if they found out that they could get the same quality service for Y, they came back and told us that and did it. So I think that all of the yelling out there and this perception that we have incompetent leadership, that we have leadership that doesn't know what they're doing, is a bunch of stuff. So we need to go ahead and untie folks' hands and allow them to do what they're already doing. Now, I have one other question for the superintendent. If you have the ability to move more money expeditiously, would that make a difference in the children we serve?
I just wanted to make the point because we've really personalized this about the superintendent. Our CFO made it clear that she asked for this policy. Actually, the superintendent doesn't sign contracts. So I don't do that. Administration does, and it makes it easier to get resources into the classrooms, especially when we have an unprecedented amount of money, and we're competing with every district in the country right now who have money and resources, and vendors and technical assistance partners do not have to just put a whole lot of effort into working with districts. Now, they used to have to put that effort in. Now they can be choosy because everybody's trying to work with vendors at the same time. So delays by having to go through cumbersome bureaucracy unnecessarily when it was already approved in the budget only causes problems for us in providing services for students and schools, in my opinion, and in our finance department's opinion, which is why she asked for this policy change.
Well, my last comment will be this, and the superintendent's already verified that. When you have so many different same entities competing for the same vendors, there are only so many vendors that can do specific things. That's why sometimes we've actually had only one vendor to respond to a bid. It was because he was the only guy in town. Okay, if we don't write the check fast enough, they're going to go someplace else. And I can tell you this, we want the best quality of vendors in Guilford County. And if we're pressured because we lag and the best quality folk go, there's still some other folk out there who will take our money, but they may not be the best quality. Then we're going to be asking Ms. Henry and the superintendent, why did we get a poor quality of vendor? Because the other choice would be no vendor at all, which means then you get no service at all. So we need to think very clearly about the domino effect of not providing our folk the best tools, i.e. being able to sign the check, when they have found a quality vendor who wants to come to Greensboro. And realize what that also means too. When a vendor doesn't come to Greensboro, they're going to Charlotte. That means that their money that they would spend here, those people that they might employ locally, they go and they employ them in Charlotte, Raleigh, or out of state. So we lose on many fronts. So I just want to make the case that it makes sense in this environment we're in right now to go ahead and pass this policy. Thank you.
Anita. We've built schools for years. We've renovated schools for years. We've worked on HVAC systems. We've installed chillers. We've bought toilet paper. We've bought pens and pencils and papers and desks, and all within the limits that we had. We talk about a clear audit. I'm proud that we have a clear audit, but all that really means is that they spent money as authorized. Is that correct? That you did not spend unauthorized funds?
Well, it also means we followed internal controls and that we very likely didn't have any fraud. I mean, there are lots of things that a clean audit says.
But it doesn't.
It's not just saying we're spending funds.
But it
as
doesn't
authorized.
have anything to do with the amount of money, but the way it's spent. Is that correct?
Well, it says that we're following process and procedures. So
exactly.
So
But-
when we are, when we're bidding, when we're required to bid, when there are regulations and statutes that say
Right.
that we're required to bid, that we're following those processes and procedures and all the other controls that we have in place to provide oversight of these dollars so that approval at $150,000 is not necessary.
So how would that change? Would that change?
The audit?
Yeah.
No,
How
the
would,
audit
how would
wouldn't
your
change.
audit work change, and how would your audit rating, your good audit, how would that change with more authority to spend more money?
I don't think there's a suggestion that the audit would change if we were to increase the authority. I think the suggestion is that the increased authority can be given with trust because of the clean audits that we've had.
Okay. So if we increase it to $500,000, how many times can you spend $500,000?
Only as many times as in the budget.
Right. So what does a budget amendment do?
A budget amendment is the board approving us transferring funds between purpose functions in the budget.
Okay. And, all right, let's say, just what happened with COVID. You had a budget for supplies and materials. When COVID hit, that was not sufficient. It had to be increased. So we had a budget amendment to increase the funds in that particular, is it purpose and function?
Purpose function, yeah.
Yeah, purpose and function codes. We approved, just like I said in my earlier comments, we approve $4 to $5 million in budget transfers every meeting, just about every meeting. They're for different things. I'm not implying that they're just for COVID-related things. I guarantee you, nobody look at your papers, we approved $5 million in budget transfers tonight. For what? Nobody knows. I mean, you can go back and read it and figure it out, but you don't know what we moved that money for. And I'm not saying there's distrust. I'm just saying that this is not a one and done thing. If you give $500,000 as a limit, that could be $5 million in a week. All you got to do is 10 times. So, you know, and it's not really trust, it's need to know. We are held responsible.
Right, but we're already authorized to spend $500,000
I was gonna
10 times a
clarify
week
that. The $500,000.
if their money's in the budget.
The $500,000 number is associated with construction, and that's by statute. So that $500,000 number is not, all you're doing is bringing it in alignment with statute. That's not.
So what about the other one, Jill?
The other number on contracted services, there is no statutory requirement of any kind that
Right.
the board approves.
And what do other systems have, Jill?
I think there are a variety.
What's the highest other system? We've
I
researched.
can't say because I don't know. My other two boards are, a fraction of the size of this board.
Well, Charlotte Mack doesn't have that much. Wake doesn't have that much. Who has that much? Guilford County's going to have that much.
But
Why?
You're really talking about the difference between 150 and 350. You're
Right.
not talking about nothing.
Right, so why does it matter? That's my point. Why does it matter?
Well, I just want to offer my, because I'm the perspective, because I am the one that asked for this. I mean, 150,000 in 1993, adjusted for inflation, is $280,000 in that range today.
Was it 1993 when that was increased last? I think Pat had the date.
I know that the policy was last amended in 2004.
Yeah.
But I don't know that $150,000 changed in that policy.
I think it
in
did.
2004. Right.
I think it
we
did.
can research that. But even then, in 2004 to today, it's 220,000 to 230,000, depending on what index you use for inflation. So, what you could buy when the policy was originally passed to today is significantly different. And so, that's one reason that I requested the change, is so that we can be in the same place and move quickly, especially knowing that we had the CARES funds that came in, that we got last June. We've got more ESSER funds. We've got ESSER funds this June. And, needing to be able to move quickly because we are competing with vendors was one of the reasons. I honestly, because we have the authority to purchase goods, supplies, and materials in an unlimited amount without coming for approval, didn't dream that this would cause the concerns from the board members who have the concerns. And
But with what you just said, I don't understand the need for it. You just said that you could do it, so why are we changing our policy?
We're changing is the contracted services amount. We're
Right.
not asking you.
Why?
Because $150,000 in 2004 is $220,000
Give me an
today.
example.
Of all the contracts we've had to bring you that are over over the $150,000 amount.
Well, is it true that you'll do 149 in one year and 149 in the next? Do you have any instances of that?
I do have instances where we've had maybe twice 149. We've given that information to the board, to 149,000. There's not a lot of them, so it's not like we are intentionally trying to circumvent purchasing processes and procedures and board approval.
Interesting figure. Well, somebody said it's a power play, that the board is pulling a power play. It has nothing to do with power play, and from my viewpoint. It has to do with my fiduciary responsibility.
Right, and as you mentioned before, your fiduciary responsibility is in the budget. You just mentioned that
Right,
you're
but
reviewing
we
the
all
budget
know
amendments.
that the budget changes every single month.
Only if you approve it.
Yeah.
It can't change if you don't approve
But
it.
we've never not approved one.
Right, I understand that, but that's
Yeah.
where I think you can say your
We've
fiduciary
asked
responsibility
questions.
lies.
We have asked questions, but we've never not approved a budget transfer. Never. So I don't understand why that's an issue.
I'm not sure you've ever not approved a contracted services contract either.
I did not say that. I said we have not ever disapproved a budget transfer.
No, I understand.
And we sit here and we approve budget transfers, meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and we have no earthly idea what's in there, any more than we know what's in the budget.
But that raises a problem with contracted services, because odds are that nobody sitting at the dais would have enough information to make a rational decision about contracted services in a board meeting either. And that's my concern about that debate.
Pat, and then Deborah.
Pat, you're up.
Thank you. Yeah, I just maybe add some context to my comments. And it sounds like there's these straw man arguments kind of bouncing around when we say distrust or personalizing things. And that's not at all what this is about. I want to be very clear. It matters not to me who the organizational chart, what it looks like and who's there. Superintendent, Angie, I mean, I have utmost respect for our staff. And I heard someone say, well, we want to be better and more agile than Charlotte Mac. Well, we're all on the same playing field right now because they don't have this amount in the larger districts that are comparable to us. And even if they did, I'm not suggesting that would still give us the fuel and the evidence and the principle of the matter that we should do this. And I'll tell you what, I'll go back to teamwork. It's about eyes wide open, doing things together and working in unison. We can call a special meeting. If there's something that's critical for kids in the classroom, you don't think we would jump to get a quorum? I mean, that's a weak argument that we're going to be slowed down appreciably and significantly if we don't do this. And that's just not fully accurate. That's not the full story. And so I think this board wants to do what's best for kids, and I don't think this is it. I think let's do this together. Let's be virtuous leaders and do things so that it's eyes wide open and we're doing it together. And that it's the principle of the matter. If in 10 years, if the superintendent's someone else or the CFO, it matters not to me. It's a principle of the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Angie, have we ever had a bid expire with a contractor before the board was able to approve the amount that was needed for transfer?
I don't know the answer to that. I would have to go back and check. I don't know the answer to that.
Certainly, I don't think within the recent history, because, we keep an eye on things, and I don't think I've seen that happen anywhere.
I don't know that the board would see that happen, though, because if it expired, then we would have to go back and rebid it and bring the updated contract. So I don't know that the board would ever see that if that happened. But again, I don't.
So that is the process. If a bid were to expire, you would simply rebid, simply put that offer back out there and see.
Certainly, and that sounds simply, but that's a minimum of 3-week process.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Linda?
I want to go back to change orders. Is that not the one place on a capital project that costs could run out the...
Well, costs can't go beyond the budget. Change orders have to be within the scope of the contract, so you can't do a change order for something that's not included in the scope of the contract. And again, budgets for capital projects, amending the budget for that is a much different process than the one we've talked about for the other funds. It requires us bringing a request here, and then that if our board approves it, taking it to the county commissioners to approve. So, you're limited to the budget. I will say, as the finance officer, every contract that's executed in Guilford County has to be pre-audited, which means I have to put a stamp on there that says this has been pre-audited, and it's saying that there are funds available. I'm not, if I sign that and the funds aren't available, or if I don't sign it and we write a check, this board can say, Angie Henry, you need to give us out of your personal checking account whatever the cost of this is.
Okay.
This is serious to me.
Well, I understand that. That's not... All right, contracts are made with the board. Is that correct? Contracts are with the board. If they're going to sue someone, they're suing the board.
The entity that contracts. Yes.
Exactly. Now, it'd be nice, and sometimes this board may not agree with how certain funds are being spent, correct? That's happened. So with these huge numbers and change orders, I never will see a change order again, basically. I don't have to see a change order. Will I ever see a change order again with this process?
So all of our documents are available to be reviewed anytime anybody wants to see
How
them.
will I know it's there? If we do this, okay, we're saying there's no reporting, there's no limit on the change order, there's no accumulation. In other words, once you do so many change orders and it hits a threshold, There's nothing in here about any of that. There is no limit on dollars, no limit on accumulation, no reporting, and no anything. So let's say, we have authority on how, or we should have some authority on how funding is spent. That is what this board's authority is. It's authority. Now, when we put this in, I'm clueless, okay? We can go do, service projects. What are we putting it up to? Or
Service contracts, $350,000.
All right, so you can go get, $350,000 is quite a bit of money. So you can do 3-4 service contracts up to $350,000. I've got no clue what those services are for. And you're up to $1 million, and I have no clue. I'm just saying.
It's going to be in the budget, and
Okay, it's in the budget, but there again, you can move money around, right? You can move money around.
with the board's approval.
Right. Yeah.
Winston has.
But there again, why then do all these other districts, why does the North Carolina School Board Association have strong policies to have some limits and to have reporting and to have all this? What do you need me for?
So my review of the School Board Association policies didn't have dollar amounts in there.
No, we get to put them in there. I agree
Right.
with that.
And that's all we're asking you to do now is give us the dollar limit.
We're doing no change order policy whatsoever. There is no change order policy whatsoever. Zero. There's no reporting. There is nothing. Is there? If we approve the current policy.
So there's a budget that you've approved for the project. You've approved a contract for the project that tells us what the scope of the project is. And then if there are change orders that have to be made within that scope, which I anticipate, with what construction prices are doing right now, I'm really concerned about what change orders we're going to have as we move through the projects. But we can't approve anything that is not already in the budget. It's not unlimited.
But I'm going to be clueless what's getting changed.
But just, again, those are available.
No, I'm not. How am I going to know that it happened? I have to depend. Are you going to come tell me? Are you going to come tell me that, hey, we just did all these change orders, Linda, go look? It's the same thing with policy, all right? Saying that, you can just put all those policies out there and everybody's going to be watching, all right? No, they don't watch. I'm not going to sit here and think, oh my God, I got to check every month to see if there's any change orders. I've got to go check and see what's going on in this project. I need to go check and see because I'm not going to, and I want to see maybe, I'm supposed to know where money's going. We don't know where money's going. So I just have a real problem with it that the contracts are with me and that yet we change orders, which everybody, and I remember Mr. Duncan being Mr. Change Order Control, to make sure that things didn't go out of scope, that the projects were brought in where they belong. And so I don't feel guilty or ashamed or anything about challenging this. I feel it is my duty to know something about what's going on in this district, okay? This is just another way for me not to know anything going on in this district, all right? So I have a real problem with it. I don't know why we need a board. I don't know why we need a board because we don't have any responsibility for anything. So I don't get it.
Winston, I know you've called the question, but do you mind if I just ask a few questions? I'm sorry. I try to let everybody talk first, but I just have a few things. Angie, who approves contracts now for supplies, materials, and equipment?
Typically, those are bid and approved through the RFP bid process.
And what are the legal requirements of that process?
Well, there are bid thresholds that are in statute that say when we have to do quotes, informal bids, formal bids. And, depending on dollar amounts, but that's, again, those are awarded by staff based on the lowest responsible bidder.
And about how much is approved through this process each year? You don't have to have the exact dollar
So
figure, but if
we
it's,
spend on supplies, materials, and equipment probably between $50 and $60 million a year.
between 50 and 60 million a year. How long has this process been in place?
I don't want to go back to 1993 because I only started in 1995,
Okay,
so
okay.
I'll say since 1995.
So has the board ever approved supplies, materials, and equipment contracts?
Not that I can recall.
50 to 60 million dollars.
Right.
Who approves contracts and vendors for schools?
When you say, do you mean?
Schools have budgets, right?
Schools have their checkbook budget and then they have allotment budgets, so yeah, they follow
So
the
they-
same
they-
process.
Right, and so who sees those and approves those? Does the board see those? Like, do I know what the principals in District 8 are doing, who
Oh.
they're buying T-shirts from, who they're,
No. Mm-mm.
so they get to make those decisions based on these laws and requirements?
Right. Mhm.
Okay. So none of this comes before the board?
Right.
50 to 60 million dollars. Okay. So Jill, does the revision to the contract, is it in alignment with the North Carolina General Statute?
Are you talking about the revision to the policy?
Yes.
Yeah, so the $500,000 is required by law, and that's already in this policy, and there is no legal requirement one way or the other for contracted services. So yes, it is not.
So we would still
it
be
is
exercising
consistent with statutes.
our fiduciary responsibility supporting this.
So your fiduciary responsibility, I think you kind of talked about it without meaning to talk about it, which is you have a budget which you've approved. If you're doing construction, you have a project ordinance which sets out how you're going to spend the money and what the money will be. And you have budget amendments that come to you every month that are the only way that money moves. So you vote on all those components of how your funds are spent already. I've said before, I have concern about how you would reject a contract, for example, that comes before you that's $200,000. If you were rejecting it because you don't like the choice of the contractor, you wouldn't have sufficient information to make that decision in this setting, certainly. I just don't know that board meetings are the place to make decisions about who you contract with anyway. So I think the budget and there are lots of other ways to be involved in what you spend on what, if that's really what this is about. I'm not sure what it's about, but if it's about the terms of the contract or the person you're contracting with, I don't know how you would have sufficient information in this setting to do that. I think you would probably not. I can't think of a time that you would have said, we don't want that contracted services. We don't want that contracted services contract. I can't think of a time you've done that. It may be the same as the budget amendments. Maybe nobody looks at them that thoroughly, but that doesn't mean that that's part of some fiduciary responsibility. You have other ways to manage your money.
Thank you. So the board approves the budget, and then the district puts out the RFP or the RFQ, and then we hold all of those bids and responses by law, correct? Okay. All right, we're now ready to vote. Please cast your votes. And Pat, I'll get to you in just a minute. Pat?
No.
All right, so policy DC fails by a vote of 5-4. All right, we are now at a discussion of reopening the board meetings to the public. I know Dr. Carr has some information, but as the municipalities and just the city is in the process of reopening and being able for the public to be back in person, The county has been doing so incrementally. I think the city has hybrid meetings and still virtual as far as the public is concerned, and we are, as everyone else is, interested in getting back to that too. So Dr. Carr, if you can just share with us what information that you have about how we safely reopen.
Sure, happy to. So the timeline that we've worked out with our board chair and board leadership is that we'll have recommendations in place for discussion or to share with the board at our meeting on June 17th, and then we would begin the more open process in July when our new fiscal year starts. We've already started checking with colleagues across the state and nationally, although I would note that the size of the boardrooms, the space configurations, all of that really varies widely. We're also anticipating and have been hearing for a while that the updated guidelines for public schools, which we still fall under in the pandemic from North Carolina Division of Health and Human Services, will be coming out soon. They just released an update to the pre-K ones yesterday, so we're hopeful that will come in soon, and we'll take a look at that. Because right now, our read of that would include some social distancing, include, masking and some other things, unless that changes. And I would also just say it's important to note that while we've made great progress, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. The North Carolina daily positive rate, we're very happy to report, at least based on their website earlier today, was at 1.8%. The Guilford County positivity rate, they measure it over a 14-day period, was 2.8%. So even though there have been some increases, those are still good numbers. Unfortunately, despite multiple efforts, and we're continuing to push this out and share this with all of you, and appreciate your support in sharing vaccination information with all of your constituents, we've sort of hit a slog in North Carolina. It is slow going. After some real initial enthusiasm, it's sort of flatlined, and we're actually, if you look at some different reports, North Carolina as a whole has really now sort of at near the bottom 10, 15 states in the nation in terms of vaccination rates. And then Guilford County is following that same pattern. So North Carolina, from the total population, which not all are eligible yet, of course, is at 40%. 44% have received at least one dose. We're hoping that under 12 will come soon. Maybe Ms. Napper knows more information about that. And then in Guilford County, we're at about 43% overall, and then 47% have received at least one dose. So we still have protocols we need to put in place because we're not going to know who's vaccinated, who's not. And we'll have all of that ready to go when the meetings start, when we open up that process. Also, I would just add that our legal counsel provided guidelines from the UNC Institute of Government, which is one of the sources we often go to, about the guidelines to make sure we are following the best practices that have been identified in this very unusual time that we are in. And really going through those step by step, we have been following all of those recommendations to a T. So we're looking forward to getting back and having more people be able to come in. We'll just have to manage it by the size of the room, by the social distancing, and probably do some kind of ticket system. We will work out all of those details and report back to you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no questions, we are now at board member comments. Yes.
Are we aiming, is there a time frame for aiming to open it up to the public? Did I hear that at all?
Yes, the first meeting in July.
Okay. Did you say that and I miss it?
I did.
Okay, I'm
but
sorry.
But that's okay. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear.
Okay.
We will have recommendations prior to the next meeting of this body, which is June 17th, will be the recommendations. And we would start with our new fiscal year. And part of what I'm hoping is that we'll have some new updated guidance, which will make some things a little bit easier from the North Carolina Division of Public Health. If they don't come out, we'll move forward regardless. No problem.
And yeah, just to feedback for you a little bit there, Nora. We are approved for 12 and up now as far as vaccinations for youth. But historically, as you move into the younger ages, they don't do those large gaps anymore. They'll probably start moving younger and younger in 2 to 3 year gaps. But yeah, North Carolina as an average right now, we have a complete vaccination rate, meaning either 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson or 2 doses of the Moderna or Pfizer at a 54% rate, whereas the national average is 64. So we're running a little bit behind.
I think the 54% is of those eligible, where the rates I was speaking to were of total population.
There you go. So yeah, you're absolutely right. We're dropping a little bit behind the curve on that one. We started out very strong. But yeah, that's just to kind of back up what you're saying there. They are going to start backing up into the age groups slowly but surely.
Right, and we're really hoping we'll be able to, as you know, we've been sharing, we've got many vaccination clinics and other things, and our schools are really partnering. We're very grateful to Cone Health, Public Health, North Carolina A&T. Everybody is really working with us to get those community-based locations, which of course our superintendent's been advocating for since before the vaccines were approved. So we're hoping that will help.
I was also quite proud to see the vaccination rate among our GCS staff. Everybody advocated for that for them, and they definitely took advantage of it. So I feel like they were heard, and then in return, we felt very appreciated because we all stood for them. And then they took advantage of everything that we offered. So thank you to our staff.
I just wanted to ask on the mask mandate. I've had both shots. I don't feel the need to wear a mask. Are we still requiring it?
All right. And here I am talking with my mask on.
Well, we can't hear you if you have your mask
I know.
on.
I know I have sort of a soft voice, so that's why I did it. But under the North Carolina regulations from public health for public schools, masks are still required in district buildings and schools and central offices. So yes, they are still required at this point. It's possible when new guidelines come out that could change. They may not because of the fact that of so many unvaccinated children and the fact that our vaccination rates stalled. We were so excited initially that we were really doing well, and it's just a slog is the best word I have. We're slogging through it, trying to get 1 here, 5 here, 10 here.
Well, I didn't intend to break the rules. I just did not realize that it was still required.
Yes,
in school buildings.
It is, and like I said, I've had my mask on throughout the whole meeting, except when I was taking a sip of a drink, and then just wanted you all to be able to hear me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We are now at a closed session. Sorry, thank you. We are now at a closed session. I don't know if Anita has the motion, or do you have a motion?
I did not write a motion. I'm sorry, I didn't know we were doing a closed session.
Okay, I move we go into closed session to preserve the attorney-client privilege and to discuss personnel matters protected by state law.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're now into closed session, so I think we'll stay in here, or we're gonna go? All right, so we're gonna leave this room, and we'll be back because we will take action. And Bellamy Smalls.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Make a motion to add an addendum to the personnel report and recommend the superintendent's recommendation for the chief of operations.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pat, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right. Well, that passes. Dr. Contreras, you want to say a little bit about our...
Thank you. And I name as the Chief of Operations, Michelle Enried. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now at board member comments, and I will start with Ms. Sharp.
Just like to say very special thank you to Jocelyn Because for all her hard work organizing our graduations. The ones I attended went smoothly, went well. I want to wish her well in her retirement. And I'd like to say a special thank you to my special graduate, Odette. I was proud of all of the ceremonies that I was at. Everything was well run. Everyone was well behaved. It was very dignified, certainly different from last year. I was grateful that we were able to do those in person. I also want to say thank you to the principal and staff at Southern Guilford. They have persevered during some very hard times, and there's a great deal of misinformation out about what actually happened and what should have happened. And I will address that on an individual basis as people contact me. And I also want to talk a little bit about excuse me, the one-card system that's been discussed a lot and how it could have prevented what happened at Southern Guilford. I don't think there's anything we could have done, period, end of sentence, to prevent what happened. The protocols were in place. There's been a lot of criticism that there was not a lockdown, but it was all over before a lockdown could have even been called. And the intruders were already with Sheriff's Department by the time they could have called for a lockdown of the school. And in my opinion, that was not necessary or desirable. And again, I just want to thank the staff for that and for our graduations. And I'm anxious for us to open our board meetings to the public again, maybe not as in a crowded room as we've had before and limit the number of attendees, but people are feeling left out, not part, and we want people to be part of our school system, not to feel left out and ignored. And so I thank you for that and look forward to it, and would like to spend a little bit more time talking about all the discourse that's been going on with the county commission and he said, she said, et cetera. But hopefully we'll have time for that at a future date soon.
Thank you. Ms. Knepper?
Thank you. First up, I would like to start by extending my apologies to Principal McKenzie at Northern Guilford High, Principal O'Donnell at Grimsley High School, and Principal Nagley at Page, as well as all of our graduates, because I was not able to attend your graduation, and I know that you guys could see on your program that I was supposed to be there. I was unfortunately not well. Y'all, I'm just too old to be pregnant. And I had to stay home and take a couple days bed rest and kind of get over some issues. But I would like to offer a little something to our graduates. This is a little piece of what is called Devotions on Emergent Occasions by John Donne. And this is the Napper abridged version, so we aren't here all night. Okay? No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent and a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is less. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sin to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. I would like to take a minute and request that our graduates remember that we do not live on an island, that we are never alone and by ourselves. And after this year with COVID and having a teenager in the house myself, I know that that has been a prevalent feeling, and take graduation with you as you go. And as we go back out in public, and as we try and remember how to be decent humans again with everybody around us. And remember that we are all part of the same community. We are all a part of the same learning process. Don't ever let that learning process stop. And wherever you head next, take that sense of community with you, because everyone around you will impact you and you will impact them.
Thank you. Ms. Jenkins?
I'd like to say thank you very much and congratulations to all the graduates. And that's meaning from pre-K, 5th grade, 8th grade, and especially our seniors. Also, I'd like to thank Ms. LaSae Timmons for the invitation to your Chucks and Tucks for our senior students at Dudley, and also for the senior cookout. You did an outstanding job. To our GTCC East families, Dr. Rodney Boone, I thank you very much for allowing me to participate in the virtual award ceremony. And to Jocelyn B. Coates, you did an awesome job, outstanding. And I thank you for all the work you put in. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Irby?
Yes, I'm grateful this year that we were able to have graduations, even though I did have a lot of more fun at the drive-thrus last year, especially with Mike Hettenbach. You're always going to have fun with those Cowboys. I was very shocked to see Miss B. Coates name Dr. Morrison on the personnel report, and I almost pulled the report and wanted to vote it down because Jocelyn has been a saint, you know, with the first graduations that I participated in, and she got all the ducks in a row, and she, even with the drive-thrus that she organized for our students, you know, she is really somebody that I'm going to miss personally, and the district is going to miss, and I don't know how we're going to get her back, but maybe we can figure out something. But to all the graduates, congratulations. And to this board, we have a lot of work to do. Kids are looking forward to coming back to school. I'm going to have a rising senior next year. So it's going to be a very important year again for students and coming back to school and things like that. And to our principals, please be encouraged. Things are going to get better for us. We are a team. We are here for you. And any way that we can continue to support you, this board is for you. This board is for you. And to Dr. Henry, if there's any other way that we can assist you in moving things faster for our children, I'm sure we are going to come up with a better way in order to get things done for our kids, to get resources that we need for our children. I know that that's going to happen for us. So, you know, I just know that we're going to be a little bit more creative, whatever that's going to take for us to do the right thing by children, because that's the bottom line. This is about children. Any changes that we make, every policy that we make, it is ultimately about how we are going to educate children, the excellence that we say we want to be about. That costs something. And sometimes we have to do things that are not comfortable and stretch ourselves. And that's why I'm on this board, to stretch myself and to be different and to be about the children, which are our bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wilburn?
I want to say that I was thrilled to see our kids back in the Coliseum graduating. And it seems like they grew since with COVID, for some reason, I believe they grew twice as big, because I saw kids that I had seen before, and all of a sudden, and probably because we weren't able to get in the schools, it was like they shot up a foot. But I'm excited for all of our graduates, truly enjoyed it. I really want to say happy retirement to Jocelyn, where she's going to be sorely missed. I also want to say kudos to our 3 character award schools. That's awesome. I have to give a special shout out to Southeast, of course. But they are all did an awesome job. I think that's great. That's what we want. We want to build that character. We want kids to do well. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a new year. And I cannot forget all our teachers. They finally are done. Well, some of them are done. They're going to move into the summer. But, you know, I know they worked so hard. All are classified, everyone. And I don't think we can say thank you enough for enduring this past year. But we have come to the climax, and we got those kids through. So thank you to everyone in this whole GCS family that took any part in getting that done, because it was a big job, it was a big lift, and it's finally here. So thank you to everyone. So anyway, I'm looking forward, hopefully, to next year being in school 100% with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bellamy Smalls?
As everyone has said, we want to thank all of the staff that put together graduations. Yes, Dr. Beacoat was the head ramrodder, but you know there were a lot of people behind the scenes. I also want to thank the Coliseum staff, because where we have had concerns before about whether they could do their job, they let us know that they could, and particularly to the food service staff, because if you wanted it, you got it, in terms of them being there and accommodating. And I don't think we sometimes realize that the people who give us the most are the ones that we don't pay the most. And so the least we can do is say thank you to them. To our 2021 graduates, you've proved that you are survivors. I hope that your road going forward will not be as challenging and as difficult, but you will have challenges as you grow and become the adults. And I hope you'll be able to solve the problems that us old folk have messed up and didn't solve. That's why we wanted to give you the best education that we could. I think it's also worthy to note that we are a special group here at GCS, because we try to make sure that every child matters. And for us to do graduations at the detention center, for us to recognize students who have passed away and make sure that their families still had the opportunity to have the experience for their children, for the graduations that were held at our special schools. If you haven't been to a graduation at one of our special schools, it's a miracle. That's all I can say. And the fact that we take the time to make sure, even when some of the students decide they want to walk out in the middle of their own graduation, but we still help them to have that experience. Everybody wouldn't do that. So, when we sometimes get the nasty notes that say we're not and what we don't do, and that, we are a difficult group to get along with, look at the product, look at the results, because through it all, the leadership of Dr. Contreras and her group, even when we've knocked them down, even when we haven't been kind to them, even when we haven't respected them, they still got up and did their jobs. They still got up and made sure that GCS was represented well. I want to wish everybody a happy Juneteenth. And if you don't know what that means, then just watch the Greensboro Facebook Live on June the 19th at 10 o'clock, and I'll explain it to you. We still want folks to have a safe summer and understand that we still have access to vaccines if people want them. The virus is not gone. The virus is still here. We have taken a lot of precautions to try to protect ourselves, but we're still vulnerable, and we can't play with this thing, because it's like playing with a match and a can of kerosene. I do just want to ask the board chair that at some point that we do have on our agenda a discussion about superintendent's evaluation, and also about the district, the redistricting of this district, because we are past the 2020 census. And so those are two very hard things that this board is going to have to look at in the next while, whenever that winds up being set. But I think instead of having people say that, they didn't know because they didn't read the agenda, that if we can let folks know far enough in advance that we're going to be doing those things, then maybe they can be prepared. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat?
Yes, good evening, and thank you. Just echoing a lot of what some of the board members have said, but it certainly bears repeating, and that's to our graduates. We salute you under incredible duress. Many of our students all of them have hit a huge milestone in their lives, and they probably don't fully realize that yet. When we get old, like myself, you have the opportunity of hindsight. But I would just say to all of our graduates, keep accelerating. Don't take your pack off. Keep reaching for those milestones, whether it be college or a career or the military. We are proud of you. We are proud of the teachers that helped, and all the people in your lives that helped shape you and give you the support that you've needed. And I hope that here in Guilford County Schools, we've at least played a small part in trying to give you that support and those resources, and we'll continue to do so in the benefit of all of our students. And a special mention to my own a graduate in the Tillman House, my oldest daughter, walked across the stage, and my niece, both of them Grimsley High School graduates. And that is something that I was still wrestling with. And it's such a bittersweet time. But we're happy for all of our graduates and all the people that helped make it happen. I do hope, I think Anita mentioned this, that I hope that we can maybe lock ourselves in a room with maybe a few county commissioners and maybe get out of the media and go through the timeline of the safety and security, because there's the whole story's not been told, and I want it told, and I want it to be fully transparent from the moment that money was voted on until here we are today. And I hope we'll have that opportunity. I don't think it's in some ways it's irresponsible to just take pot shots in the media, but I hope that we'll sit down and as leading adults and get to the bottom of it, because I know the community has questions and there's another side and there's a full story to that. I do want to lift up Juneteenth. I was last year, men's workout group I'm involved in, we had a Juneteenth ruck that's still available to sign up, and it's a ruck walk, so you don't have to wear a pack and get all tactical. It's open to all families and children. I think we had about 120 last year, and it's on F3 Greensboro, the Juneteenth ruck, and we've got a couple speakers lined up, and it's just a wonderful way to find the good in our community and all that it is and that special holiday. And I didn't know nearly enough about it until I was exposed to it, thankfully. And a quick shout out to Madam Chair, your dad. I'm here on the Army base, and there's a command sergeant major walking around, and I just kind of have a picture of your dad, when he was doing his thing. So thanks, everybody. Miss you all, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Pat. My dad's still a comeback kid, so I'll be taking care of him this weekend. So thank you very much, and you be safe, and thank you for your service and what you're doing for us right now. Just a couple of things. Congratulations to our graduates and their families. I know that our staff and our district played a major role. I've really enjoyed Dr. B. Coates and her coordination over the years. She makes things seem so seamless in a time that is harried, and so sorry to also see her go. I had the sort of sad but privileged opportunity to attend a graduation at the Juvenile Detention Center with the superintendent and board member Irby and our vice chair Winston McGregor and some of our staff and principals. And it is a very intense and impactful experience. Seeing two students who tried to stay the course after some bad choices and bad decisions, and trying to make sure that that they know that they are not the sum total of their worst mistake, and encourage them to join and participate and complete any program that was offered available to them. Try to make decisions about who you get around and hang out with, and come out differently. And but it's just symbolic of what so many young people are going through. And know that both of these young men, one was a young white male and a young African American male, and what they had in common was an environment that oftentimes leads to things that they participated in. And if we don't address that environment, I don't want to go to more of those graduations. And I'd also like to say, I think one of the things we learned during this pandemic is not everyone had access, and not just access to technology, to devices and to connectivity, but even the process, even the information about how to communicate. And so emailing board members is not the only way that we receive information about how people feel about the things that are going on, nor is it the only way that we communicate with the public, our constituencies, with what's going on, and to get feedback from them. And so while I read every comment, every email, listened to every phone call, read every letter I received in the mail, that is not the only source of information that I rely on in making decisions. I also know that we have had the majority of our speakers or writers come and share their concerns, whether it was a graduation calendar or the school discipline policy, and people still voted against it. So a yes or no vote does not mean that you are not listening to the people who are in front of you. It means that you have taken all of the information into consideration. I hope it does, that you have taken all the information into consideration, and that you are making a decision based on that. And so just wanted to offer that feedback. With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, good night, and thank you, staff. And Dr. Contreras.